tag. Now, what do I mean by tag? No, I'm not talking about the trustworthy accountability group, or the playground game tag, or even the 2018 film tag about a bunch of grown men playing the playground game tag while adults. What I'm referring to is the tag grading company. Now, if you've been in the Pokemon space for a little bit, you might know about Tag. Currently, they are the hot and up-and-coming grading company, trying to take on the likes of PSA, Beckett, CGC, but, of course, the question is going to be, are they any good? Well, yes and no. Tag slabs themselves are actually very popular. They look slick, they look clean. A lot of people really like the feel of tag slabs. However, they are not without controversy. Now, with that being said, tag slabs are or were a solid option in contrast to PSA. While PSA slabs are the quote-unquote gold standard, everyone knows what they are, they do take a long time to grade because right now everyone and their mother wants to grade Pokemon cards. So instead of the high turnaround time or the higher cost, Tag was an alternative. And currently I believe they still offer the bulk rate for $15 to grade a card without any upcharge, but you have to submit at least 20 cards. And at least for my Tag submission, it did take about 4 months to come back. Now, to be fair to Tag, they had a giant influx of people submitting cards in order to grade, so I'm assuming that's the case, but it actually took longer for me to get my Tag cards back than for PSA. But without further ado, let's jump into the Tag grades and, of course, what they're worth in the Tag grades. So let's start this off with a Pikachu from Crown Zenith, Tag 9. Now, you might be asking yourself, why is this a Tag 9? Well, let's go look at the Tag website. So here we can see the Tag site. This is the card that I just showed, the Pikachu from Crown Zenith, and there is my grade, the 9 mint. Now, the one thing I really like about the Tag site is you can zoom in to the cards and kind of like take a peek at what, looks good, what looks bad on the cards. And here you have, the stats of the card, essentially. Population, how many have been graded, how many have been graded what I have. The card rank, the third highest mint, 159th overall. Here you can see all the, stats of the card. Height of the card, width of the card, centering, which is pretty important. Centering is actually pretty good on this card. And if we look here, we can see on the back, there's one ding, which is the reason it didn't get a 10. And then if you look here, it actually shows a picture of the ding, and if you zoom in, you can see that there's a little white speck right there where the card basically got dinged and no longer has basically the blue coloring there. Here you got a more in-depth thing where it's telling you all the little, facts and all that fun jazz about this. Kind of see all of that. Here you can kind of zoom into all the corners, see all of the little things. Right here again you have the bottom right corner has the little ding on it. And then you got the edge details, a little bit of frilling, a little fraying, all that fun stuff. Back edges here. Basically, Tag has a lot of really good details for when you want to grade your card. And this is probably one of the biggest things they have above PSA, Beckett, and all that stuff. While Beckett will have the grades if you pay a little extra money, for Tag you get all of this with, I believe, the bulk rate. I'm not sure if they changed that, but it's really nice to have because you get all of this stuff just by scanning your card, and it tells you why you got the grade you did. And as you guys can see here, if we flip over the slab and look at the back, in the bottom right corner, there is the dot. Kind of noticeable. With these kind of cards, it's really weird because sometimes you don't notice the issue until you get the card back and you're like, why did this get a 9? Look at the card. Oh, dang, that's why I got a 9. So let's find out what it's worth. The cost for the card at the time, what I paid for it, was about $20. It cost $15 to grade through Tag at the time, once again, late January. Now, if we look at this card, with Tag cards, you're going to notice a little theme. They're kind of all over the place because one of the last 4 sales of this card, a Tag 9 Crown Zenith Pikachu, was $60, $49, $5, and $25. Obviously, that is all over the place. So the best thing I can do is, for the eBay sold listings, I just took the average. I had it all 4 up, took the average, divided by 4, and I got 34.75. Again, not a perfect system, but it's what I got. So with that being said, let's move on to the next card. This is Origin Form Dialga V-Star from V-Star Universe, Japanese set, tag 9. Now, generally with Japanese cards, you have no issue with getting a 10 unless like the centering's off. But as you can see with this one, there's a little bit of an issue right there. So let's look at the tag grading. As we can see here on the tag site, we have the Origin Form Dialga V-Star, and we got the mint score 9. We have 6 graded a 9, 32 total have been graded. This is the highest card rank, so that means there is no tag 10 of the Dialga, Origin Form V-Star. Continuing down here, we can see all this stuff here. Centering's pretty good. There is a ding on the front on the edge. If we go down here, it's a little hard to see, but you can kind of see where that edge ding is. Going down here, you have all the little stats and stuff again here. Here it has a view, edgeware, location, where it is. Down here, of course, you have more of the close-up pictures. But if we go back up here, you can see it has the location of it. And if we click right here where it says the edgeware is, it'll actually give us this detailed thing. And then right there, it's a little hard to see on the super scan, but you can kind of see where the ding is, where it looks a little bit more frilled, and it looks like there's an indent right there. Now, this is really nice from tag. I like it. This part's a little harder to see because of the damage done to the card. It's a little hard to see on this scan, but it's a really nice thing to have from tag. Now, this Origin Form Dialga V-Star, the Japanese one from V-Star Universe, I actually got a special deal on from a buddy of mine. It cost me $45 at the time. Grading cost is $15. And then when it finally got graded, I could only find one sold listing on eBay for a tag 9 of this, which I'm impressed I was even able to find one. But essentially, it came out to be about $85 is the only tag 9 listing I've seen of this. So, still made money on this one, so not too bad. But, yeah, no, this is a bit of a weird one, so not too bad. Now, moving on from the Dialga V-Star, we have the Lost Origin Pikachu vmax, or the Chokachu, as this card is commonly referred to as. There's a couple different versions of this. This one's really nice. Now, for this one, I can't believe I missed this, but if you look right there, there's actually a printing error right there. So here we can see the Pikachu vmax. Looks pretty good. Nothing too bad. It's still got the mint 9 there. Population 22 graded at 9, 55 graded total. Second highest grade, so there is a tag 10 of the Pikachu VMAX from Lost Origin. Now if we go down here, centering looks pretty good. I think I've actually had 4753 on most of these. Nothing too bad. However, on the surface on the back, there's actually a problem. And if we go down here, you can actually see an ink defect that we showed earlier on the card. I can't believe I missed this, but that's kind of wild. So we look in the back here, look at that. There's an ink defect right there. And then if we go on the super scan, right there's the ink defect. Again, you can see this on the regular card, and I'm kind of surprised I didn't notice it earlier, but it's really nice to have this because it kind of shows you, hey, you missed this thing, here it is. And it's like, okay, thanks, yeah. So, yeah, just, a little blunder on my part, but once again, tag has this nice little feature, shows you all the problems. Now the fun part. What is this card worth? Well, the Pikachu from Lost Origin, the black and gold one, cost me $12 to get, $15 to grade with tag, and the final price that comes out for it is about $21. Now, for this one, I actually couldn't find a tag 9 on eBay for the sold listing, so I had to use PSA in order to get the sold listings. So take it with a grain of salt. Tag is probably going to be a touch lower right now. It could be a touch higher, but averages out to about $21. Still, a very cool card, and I'm glad I got it graded. Now, moving on, let's go to the next card, which is going to be the Koraidon EX Secret Illustration Rare from Scarlet Violet base set. Now, this card is pretty snazzy. As you can see, no defects on it. Got the tag 10. The thing with the Koraidon is that while it's a newer Pokemon from Scarlet Violet, it's not as popular, so it's not worth as much in the tag 10. Let's break it down. So, breaking it down, the Koraidon SIR from Scarlet Violet base. Cost of the card was $15. Grading cost was $15. And the only eBay sold listing I could find for a tag 10 Koraidon was for $70. Now, not too bad here, as we can see. Made a nice little chunk of change here, but Looking at the tag cards, definitely they don't have the same value as the PSA. Now this could change with time, who knows, but realistically it's just not going to be as much as the PSA 10s. Next we got the Pikachu Full Art from Super Electric Breakers. Really cool card. I really like it. It's got a nice little shine to it, which I will say for the Japanese cards, I think I've mentioned this in the past, the hollows always look really nice on the Japanese cards, and to be fair, when you're grading Japanese, it's considered a quote-unquote cheat because generally the only thing you gotta worry about in the Japanese cards is centering. Getting a 10 is super easy on this. So that's why the Japanese cards aren't worth as much, but I think this is just a really snazzy card. With that being said, let's go into the details. So when I picked up this card, it cost about 25 bucks, which is around what it cost in English at the time. 15 bucks to grade, and then when I had it graded, came back tag 10, it's worth about 63 bucks. Last three sales are 65, 65, and 59. So somewhere in that ballpark. Again, not a bad pickup. Got a good multiplier on it. It's just the Japanese ones aren't worth nearly as much. But in this case, the English is only worth about 80 to 90. So not as big a difference as there wouldn't be normally. Next, we have the Pikachu Black Star promo from the Paldea Adventure Chest. I think this is just a really cool card. It's not a card I don't think a lot of people grade because it's not worth a lot right now, but it's just a really cool card to have, super clean, and I think it's a cool card just to have. It just looks nice. So let's break it down. So, here we go with the Pikachu Black Star promo. Looks really snazzy, cost me about 8 bucks to pick up. It's not an expensive card, 15 bucks to grade. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. Technically, from the tag average sold listings, it's $100. Now, as I said earlier, you might be like, well, I thought you said it wasn't worth that much. Those are the only two tag listings sold, and the PSA listings are anywhere from 55 to 60 bucks. So this one's a little bit of a weird one, so take caution with it if you're trying to get a tag slab for this. Now here we got a big card, the Kingdra EX Shrouded Fable Black Star promo. This, along with the Greninja Shrouded Fable Black Star promo, are two of the biggest cards to get, because they were like $3 to $5 cards. Now they're in the, $25 to $30 range, and these are notorious for being extremely hard to get a 10 in. So getting a tag 10 is pretty good, and we'll do the breakdown here. So, the Kingdra EX Black Star promo from Shrouded Fable costs about 30 bucks for me to pick up, $15 grading, and the last three eBay sold listings are for $180 for the tag 10. This is one of the cards where this is big to get in a 10. Even the tag 10 compared to the PSA 10, it's a big card to get. So very happy with how this turned out. The card looks beautiful. It's just a really good card to get, and I couldn't be happier that I got a 10 in it. Now, going back to Japanese for a second, we have the Erika's Invitation Super Rare from the 151 Japanese set. This isn't the SIR. That one would be phenomenal to get a 10, but still, this is a very cool card. Very nice looking card. Love how it looks. Of course, Japanese, it's a little easier to get a 10 in. Still, getting the tag 10 is very nice. So, let's go into the breakdown. So, with the Erika's Invitation Super Rare from 151 Japanese, cost about $10. The grading cost $15 like everything else. Now, for this one, there is one tag 10 sold listing on eBay. It is for 60 bucks. Obviously, the Erika's SIR is a lot more, but still, 60 bucks, not bad. Made a good little profit on this. And the card just looks amazing. Like I said earlier, the Japanese hollows just look really nice. Very happy with this card, and, can't say any more about it. Now, for the penultimate slab, we have my starter Pokemon, the Miraidon Japanese from Scarlet Violet base. This looks amazing. The hollow is immaculate. The card looks really good. Let me just wipe off some of the dust right there. All right, already looking a little bit better. Left one crumb there, but whatever. This card is just boss. It's super cool. Love it. And now we'll get into the details. So, for this Miraidon, it's a little bit more of a unique situation. As you can see here, only 17 have been graded in the world with tag. 15 of them came back Gem Mint 10. Looking at this, Gem Mint 10 is the second highest rating, which means that if we go over to this page over here, there actually exists a Pristine 10, which is pretty similar to the Beckett Black Label. I'm not sure if it's an exact one-to-one, but that's basically Tag's version of a Beckett Black Label. So, essentially, there is only 15 Gem Mint 10s in the world. I own one of them, which is pretty cool, but also explains why on eBay I can't find any sold listings, because there's only 15 of them and no one wants to sell theirs. So looking up the eBay, kind of price comp, I have to use a PSA 10, which is not going to be perfect because while I think the tag slab looks pretty cool, obviously PSA is going to be more popular than tag, so it's not going to be a perfect one-to-one. Kind of going through this, the Miraidon EX from Japanese Scarlet Violet base set cost me $35, 15 to grade. PSA of this card is about $60 on sold listings, so for tag, I'd probably assume $50 at best, which means I basically broke even on this card. Again, not really that big of a deal. It's a really cool card, and I plan on keeping this card, so hey, I'm happy. And now we get into the final and biggest card, the Deoxys vmax from Crown Zenith, Galarian Gallery. This card is so cool. It's so cool, in fact, that I've sent 3 off for grading. This currently is the best one I've gotten back yet, the Tag 10 Deoxys. It's just a boss card, and I can't wait to go into details. Let's jump into it. So, the Deoxys vmax, magnificent card. At the time I bought it, $40 to get it, 15 to grade, and this one has been all over the place. There's been a couple sales way over 200. There's been a couple sales at like 175. Most recently, it sold for like 137. So on average, I'd say 157 range. So again, fantastic return on it, and it's just a boss card. But with a final look at the Deoxys, I'm going to sign off, and until next time, catch you later.